What's going on? In this video, I'm going to show you the most valuable funnel training you will ever watch on the internet. I'm going to give you all the tips and tricks that I've used to scale businesses past 100K a month, past 150K a month, past 300K a month, scaled over 100 businesses personally. And I'm going to show you all the tips and strategies we use on the funnel side, whether that be for service-based businesses, product-based businesses, whatever. We specialize in online service-based businesses, but this can be a takeaway for any type of service-based business that is in the world. You can take something away from this video, and this will be the last funnel training video you'll ever need to watch. You can just stop watching all these other gurus on YouTube or all these other people telling you how to use your funnel and that kind of thing. I'm going to break down as much as I can possibly think of or could possibly think of when making the notes for this video. I have a lot of stuff to go over in this video, but let's get right into it. So first of all, I'm going to be using my iPad, but the first thing that we're going to need to know or need to do slash I guess not do in this case is no opt-in pages, right? No opt-ins, right? 99% of cases, the increase in friction from an opt-in does not outweigh the decrease of the amount of people that actually go through it from the increase in friction, right? So opt-in pages do not typically provide a good return. Now, a good alternative to this, if you're running ads, and purely only if you're running ads, purely if ads, the only thing that's different about this, the only thing that is going to be used when we're running ads, and only on Facebook ads as well, is Facebook lead forms, right? These are pre-filled opt-in pages that can be used inside of your CRM. You can push people back, push all the data back into your CRM from this, right? So we're not going to use an opt-in page on the funnel itself. We're going to simplify the funnel itself as much as possible. And that's how I'm able to condense all this information into this video. And this is going to be a huge idea in this video, is decrease in friction, right? The amount of people that goes through your funnel, when you add friction, more friction equals less people, but it's also going to equal less qualified people. Right? So we do want to add some friction into some pieces of this, but typically we want to get them as pushed far through the funnel as possible before we do the qualifying, right? So in a funnel, a typical funnel obviously looks like this. It's going to be a spot where there's people at the top of funnel level, at the bottom of funnel level, and at a middle of funnel level, right? And this funnel is going to have numerous steps to basically push people down here to cash. This is going to be attention. And your top of funnel could be attention in the form of ads, content, messages, whether that be email, SMS, whatever that may be. That is one kind of pillar. And these are the main things that flow into our funnel, right? All of this stuff is contained in the word attention. We take attention and we turn that attention into assets, aka cash, right? So what do we want to do here? Well, we want to push people down here to at least book in a call, because again, you can always cancel their call. You can't always book it in later. So here is the call step. We like to optimize for book a call, right? Booking a call is going to be the highest leverage action that someone can take from a front end funnel in our specific scenario as a info business or as a online service-based business. The goal is to get people to book a call so that we can sell them on the high ticket product, which is going to lead to the most money. Right? Money is what we're optimizing for. And so in order to optimize for money, we need to optimize for them to book a call on a high ticket calendar, right? So this calendar here is going to be, the biggest, highest leverage thing that we can push people towards. So we want to get as many of these people as possible onto this calendar. And we will weed out some here with a simple VSL or a simple video, right? This is going to be a VSL, this could be a video, this could be a webinar, this could be a number of different things. But we're going to keep all of this as optimized as possible and get as many people on calls as possible from that initial phase, right? So these calls, from the call, we can obviously convert people into money through our sales process and that kind of thing. We want to get as many people into a call as possible. And then what we're going to be able to do is DQ people who aren't a good fit and push them to a different funnel. Now imagine this line here wasn't here. Just going to erase that. from here, we're able to push people out of this funnel who aren't qualified to our DQ, right? So we're gonna have half here that's gonna be qualified, and we're gonna have half here that are gonna be disqualified. And all the qualified people are gonna basically be able to actually turn into money. And all the people who are not qualified are gonna get pushed into our DQ funnel. This is a second funnel that basically is for disqualified leads to still extract some sort of cash so that we can liquidate as much ad cost as possible, right? So this is gonna be money coming in. These DQ leads are basically gonna be coming in from here. They're basically gonna be flowing into this funnel. And these are for leads that are not qualified for that call, right? And this is gonna be a low ticket, whether it be a community, a course, whatever it is, this is gonna be the low ticket, right? So here's our basic outline of our funnels. Now, what does this actually look like from a page standpoint? So this piece of the funnel, let's talk about the red piece of the funnel here, and I'm actually gonna color it in green. Let's take this piece. This is all gonna be condensed into a 2-page funnel. Everyone will tell you to have this like 4-page funnel. The old way is you have your opt-in, and then you push people to a VSL, and then you have like a button underneath the VSL, which I never understood. But you have a button here that basically pushes people to a 3rd page, which is like an application. And this application, you're gonna push people to a Calendly page or a calendar page, right? You're adding so many steps because you have a typical fall off rate of about 40 to 50% at these. And that's not some made up statistic, that's out off of actual numbers. So you're losing 40% on each of these different pieces, right? And so now that you got them to the call, the amount of people that make it to the call confirmation page is way lower than if we had just condensed all of this info, right? So let's do the actual math here. And this is gonna be a huge idea for funnels. If you want to actually make a funnel profitable, you have to be able to do the math. So let's say we have 1,000 people, and since 40 people are falling off, we're getting about 60 people to actually go through. On just to see the VSL, only 600 people are gonna actually go to the VSL page. Most people don't watch VSLs. We have about a 20 to 25% play rate on most VSLs. You obviously wanna use tricks like VTurb and other solutions to actually get that number up. VTurb, what it'll do is it'll speed it up right at the start and it'll slow the video down like the progress bar so people watch all the way through it. VTurb is a great tool, I love it. But obviously you're gonna still lose some people on that. So now that we're at the VSL page, that little button to go to the application page, that's another 60%, right? So that goes already down to 360 people, right? And now we're gonna lose another 60% of people who actually make it to the call page. Now from this 216, we're gonna lose another 40%. So we have about 130 people that actually make it all the way through this funnel. So if we have 1,000 at the start, we're gonna have about 130 over here. That is like 13%. So we have 13% of the people go all the way through the funnel, right? Now, and this is specifically off of Facebook ads. You might have an organic funnel or something else that's different, but if we can just eliminate the opt-in page, right? We instantly up this number to like 216 or somewhere around there, right? So without an opt-in page, now we have 216. But what else can we do here to just optimize the amount of throughput of this funnel, right? Instead of doing all these steps, we're just gonna condense everything into one simple page. And then we're obviously gonna have our confirmation page as well, which can be our second page with sales assets on it. And then we can also have like a DQ page if we wanna do that. But focus on what actually matters first. Optimize for getting the funnel up and getting these steps done first before you go into your full DQ page. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna have a VSL at the top, right? VSL. And then we'll have our Typeform application down here. And now you don't have to use Typeform. Tallyforms is a good alternative because I know Typeform is super expensive, but Typeform typically will convert the best. Kind of depends what you want to do there, but Typeform is a little bit more expensive, so I get that. Tallyform's great alternative to Typeform. I think it works very, very well for what it actually does. But here on this application, if they fill out the application and they don't succeed, that's where they're gonna go down here to the DQ page. If they do succeed, we're gonna have the calendar right on this page. Why send them off to another page? Why make them click a button? Why do any of that, right? We want to watch through the VSL, but we also want to optimize the amount of people that are applying. And then on our call confirmation page, right? here we can have multiple different steps to make sure people show up to the call. But now we've already collected their info in the application, right? So we can dial them up the same way we would do with an opt-in page. I have never seen it actually make sense to have an opt-in page that the math actually makes sense on it for the amount of people that you're losing to outweigh the amount of people that you're going to gain from being able to call them, right? So on this application page, make sure we have like fractional partial forms on, so that when someone turns on the first part of or fills out the first part of the form, which is basically your opt-in, they automatically get pushed to Slack, right? Whether they fill out the full form, whether they don't. If they don't complete the full form, we want to be hitting them with email marketing. We want to be hitting them with phone calls, with a dialer, right? On this call confirmation page, we're basically going to have a post booking VSL. It's going to be a VSL. And then here, I'm basically going to have a giant arrow says do this. And this over here is going to be a picture of Google Calendar. Now here's the thing in Google Calendar, right? Typically people are looking at their using Google Calendar. If you have never sent this person a Google Calendar invite before, they will get an email that says, would you like to approve this invite? If they don't select yes, they're not actually going to get it put on their calendar, right? So you have to make sure that they select yes, or else most of your calendar integrations of like the default Google Calendar notifications that you get to your phone aren't going to show up. So you need to tell people, hey, go click yes in your email, right? This is super, super important. Make sure that they're actually going in and clicking yes so that it shows up on their Google Calendar, right? And then after that, we're going to basically have another bar here that tells them, okay, step 3 is to click this button and go watch a podcast. This podcast is going to be a long form piece of content. Doesn't have to actually be framed with the closer or whatever. I've seen that done a lot of times where people will frame the podcast with the closer. You don't even have to do that. For mine, me and Isaiah we have a whole podcast that's positioned solely on the idea of getting people as much value as possible and breaking their limiting beliefs, right? If you watch through that podcast, you'll notice there's not that much value. You can find that podcast if you go to smoothoperatorsolutions.co/100kpod, P-O-D, 100kpod. That video will come up. It'll have an opt-in page first, and it'll take you to the 100K per month blueprint. That video is not that valuable, but it does break limiting beliefs. I learned this from Serge Guattari. If you've ever watched a Serge Guattari video, he doesn't actually give any value throughout the video in 99% of cases. What he's doing throughout the video is just like breaking the limiting beliefs and showing you why the business model doesn't work, right? So all of our content, and this is kind of off topic, but all of our content in anything in business should be structured in this specific way, right? We should have the pain, the desire, and these are like basically cliffs, right? If this is like a cliff and this is like a valley, just imagine. The solution is the bridge, and down here we have the gap, right? So anything we're talking about in our content should follow these things: the pain, the desire, the solution, and the gap, right? Your content should be talking about those 4 things specifically. So for example, for this channel, this is our ICP analysis. If you haven't done an ICP analysis, I highly recommend that you do. But this is kind of what it looks like for this channel. I won't go through it all the way, but this is kind of what it looks like, right? What are most people struggling with? They're struggling with inconsistent lead flow. They're struggling with these things in the current state column, right? These are the things that they desire, which is basically the opposite of the current state. These are the desires. And then there's the gap in the market, right? This is the actual thing that holds them back from being able to go forward, right? In our case, it's the offer, it's their hiring systems, it's their knowledge, the other systems in their business. They don't know who they're targeting. They don't know how to monetize those kind of things. Those are what we're actually targeting, right? So basically we want to do 6 things. We want to justify their failures, confirm their suspicions, throw rocks at their enemies, ally their fears, encourage their dreams, and transform their beliefs, right? These are the basically main things that we want to do in our content thesis. And when we want to put it all together, that's kind of what it looks like. So my mentor taught me this a while back. I didn't take action on it immediately, and I highly regret it because I wasn't able to optimize as much as I could have if I did basically take advantage of this, right? So you need to know who you're targeting, and that's how your funnels are actually going to convert. Because if you don't have good copy on your funnels, if you don't have this dialed in everything you're doing as far as your funnels, you're not actually going to be able to sell people, right? So that's basically copy 101. You need to know their pain point, you need to know their desires, you need to know the thing holding them back, and you need to know the solution. And this is how you write banger copy, and pretty much everything you need to know about copy. That's like the 80-20 rule. That's like 80% of what you need to know about copy. There's obviously some intricacies and things like that, but if you can drive into their pain, first their emotional state, right? If I'm looking at a funnel, at the top of the funnel, I'm optimizing for emotion, right? As I go through the funnel, then I can optimize a little bit more for logic. And then down here at the bottom of the funnel, if they've already scrolled all the way through, we need to be optimizing for urgency / scarcity. And this is basically getting them to buy now, right? So this is kind of how we want to frame all of our funnel copy and everything that we do. Our headline should be very emotional and the subheadline should be very, very logical. In my opinion, that's how I like to write my copy, right? This is able to basically trigger both of those types of people. I'm a very logical person. My business partner is a lot more, not emotional. It's not the right word, but you kind of know what I mean. It's like the opposite of logical. He's more creative, right? And so we want to be able to target both types of people. Your emotional people, our logical people, and then also add some scarcity and urgency, because at the end of the day, these are 3 human components that every human processes. It's just the level at which they process them, right? And so everything in our funnel is basically all on top of this, right? We're using this framework for basically everything we do. And when we're doing that, we need to know what we're actually optimizing for, right? So there's a few things that we can be optimizing for and a few standard events that we can be optimizing for in our funnels. And those things are like leads, views. A lot of dumbasses will try to optimize for views. It's dumb. If you have a marketer that tells you to optimize for views, don't do it. There's some cases at an extremely high level when you're doing over like 100K per month in spend that you do want to optimize for views. You do want to optimize for, and this shouldn't really be views even. This is propaganda, right? That's what we're really optimizing for when we're running these types of campaigns. Leads, purely if we're doing like like trying to build a newsletter or something like that. Not a huge fan of optimizing for leads. I like to optimize for sales or booked calls, right? And booked calls, obviously my favorite. I come out of the high ticket space. In my opinion, it's a lot nicer to get a $6,000 deal than to get a $60 deal or a $50 deal or a $10 a month community. That is garbage in my opinion, right? You just have a much higher probability of actually making money with something with high ticket just because it is high ticket, right? You make one sale and it is 100 other sales that it pays for, right? So don't optimize for the things that don't matter. And also don't send, if you're another huge trick, right? If you're running ads, don't send views or leads or like page views back to your pixel. The only thing that you want to be sending back to your pixel is booked calls, right? Because when you start sending views and you start sending like people filling out an opt-in form and people buying a low ticket product, one thing that I'll see a lot is that people are running like a VSL with the application, and I look at their business and they have, you know, a qualified and then they have a DQ offer, right? And they're sending everybody back to the pixel, right? They're sending these people who did book a call, but they're also sending these people who went to a DQ offer. We don't want to send these people. These are disqualified leads, right? Yes, they bought something, but it doesn't matter. You don't want to send these people back. You don't want to send back people who filled out an application either. Like submitted application is a standard event in Facebook, but we don't want to optimize for that. We want to optimize for booked calls if that's what you're trying to optimize for. If you're trying to optimize for some other dumb shit, then go do that. In my opinion, I personally, in my business, optimize for high ticket. I optimize for booked calls because booked calls, I know, and I do the math that a booked call, right? If I have a 50% close rate, which our close rate, let's just be realistic, it's around 50 right now, but on outbound leads or on ads, it's around 30 to 35%, right? Let's say it's 33%, just to make the math easy, right? I know that 1 out of every 3 booked calls is going to be equal to 1 close, right? So you know your ratio here, pretty simple. So if I'm closing on a $6,000 package, right, and 1 out of every 3 people, what is the average booked call worth? The average booked call is worth, and this is just math, $2,000, right? And I think it's Dan Kennedy that said this originally, but the person who can spend the most money to acquire a customer is the one who's going to make the most money in the long term, right? If I can spend $2,000 to acquire a customer profitably, I know that my CAC, my cost to acquire a customer, can be way higher, and I'm able to spend more money to get higher quality leads who will actually get the best results possible, who will refer people over, who will bring in more people to the business in the long run, right? So this is how you actually build that side of the business, right? So you need to be able to do the math. This right here is all just math. It's not some like random thing that I made up. Do the math, right? You need to know your cost per lead. You need to know your cost per booked call. You need to know your cost to acquire a customer. You need to know what this booked call is worth, and then also what is the cost per booked call, right? Because if you don't know that, then you're not actually going to be able to do the math and see if it works. Super, super important that on top of that, you also have someone to actually dial up these leads, and you also have email marketing strategies. And I won't go super in depth into this. I guess I could probably make a whole nother video on this, but at every piece in the funnel, let's just say we have the classic VSL funnel that I'm talking about with downsells, right? So we have our simple first page here. This has a VSL, and then underneath it is our app with our calendar, right? And if they're qualified, they go here to the calendar page, and then they go to a call confirmed page after that, right? Let's just say that's the funnel that we're working with. And then here, if they are not qualified, they go to a DQ offer, and then they go to an upsell, a one-click upsell product, and then they go to a thank you page after that, right? And so if this is kind of the basic outline of the funnel that we're working with right here, right? We need to be filling all the holes. What does that mean? It's not like some weird Diddy reference. I'm 100% aware that sounded a little weird. I promise it's not, right? So if we have someone that, we talked about this earlier, the average slip through rate is 40% on a call, right? And really we're not having a slip through rate on like a call confirmation. This is more like inside of the calendar, but you know what I mean, right? So if we have a 40% slip rate on all of these, this slip rate is something I've never really heard anyone try to calculate for, never really heard anyone actually gathering data on as much as we do, just because we gather a lot of data across a ton of different funnels. Obviously, I'm sure Russell Brunson or someone has more data than I do. On average for us, it's about a 40% slip rate, right? So that's why we like to condense those all into one page, and that's why we get rid of this calendar page. So now we don't really have that slip through rate. But imagine that instead of this application, let's say that this is on the same page, right? But this is just here for me to draw this out, right? So if our slip rate from people who fill out the application but don't buy is 40%, we need to be hammering these people with follow-ups, right? Follow-up, emails. We also need to be hammering them with calls / dialer. And then we also need to be hammering them with SMS, and then on platform outreach. Right? And so here we're asking for their Instagram username, their phone number, and their email, so we can do follow-ups there as well. Every piece of slip we want to have some sort of sequence for, right? So if they fell through the cracks here, we're going to send them that. If they fell through the cracks here, they're going to get hit with a different set of follow-ups. If they fall through here, they're going to get hit with another set of follow-ups. If they DQ but didn't actually upsell, we're going to hit them with another set of follow-ups. If they if they bought the DQ product, upsell, we're going to hit them with one set. If they didn't buy the DQ product and they slipped through here, we'll hit them with a set there. So we're basically hitting them and hammering them from every different angle possible. Why? Because we're optimizing, right? We're going to optimize for cash. Cash. We're optimizing for cash, right? So are you optimizing to get people in a low ticket funnel? Are you optimizing to get them in a high ticket? Because a lot of people will do what's called a low ticket ascension funnel, right? I like the low ticket ascension. It doesn't fill the purpose that we're using as much, but a low ticket ascension funnel, a good example of that would be basically a front end offer, front end low ticket offer. And then from that, we're going to push people to basically over here to a strategy page, right? And then from the strategy page, we're going to push them over here. And this strategy page is basically get them to book in a call. This is going to be a what we call a fake call confirmation, and then our real call confirmation, right? And the way that they're going to get pushed in here is basically they're going to have like a button here that we upsell, like Go High Level, for example. You can upsell any sort of offer here, but this is going to be basically our one-click upsell. And this offer is basically going to be pushing them through the Ascension funnel and getting them to continually book in a call. It's going to basically force them to book in a call. They don't really have an option not to book in a call. Again, if we have a 40% slip rate through all these pieces, we want to be fixing that through email sequences, through SMS, through phone calls, having a dialer on that, right? We need to cover every piece of the process. We don't want to skip steps. We don't want them to just like get thrown away. They are a lead who is able to pay us money potentially. And so we want to be hammering them, right? And so this is our typical Ascension model. Now, a lot of people, again, they miss these slip rate pieces, right? So we have a 40% slip rate. The amount of people that we can get back if we just send them some emails, right? And a secret strategy that I use on emails is called my secret email strategy. Why is it called that? Well, it's not because it's that big of a secret, it's because they don't know whether it's a real person or not. So we're going to hammer them with like the automated reminders. But like, think about, you go to dinner, you make a reservation on Open Table or whatever that application is, right? And you get hammered with reminders, or you make a haircut appointment, you get hammered with like Calendly reminders. Those are just default. You don't really pay attention to them. Yeah, they might help you remember that you have a reservation at that time, but you just ignore them. People's brains are conditioned to ignore automated reminders. So what do we have to do? We have to make it seem not automated. Now, we can automate these ones that seem not automated, right? So how do we do that? In Go High Level, we're going to set up beautiful looking calendar pages, or beautiful looking emails, sorry. Basically, they're automatically going to get emailed out that say like, okay, you bought this product, boom, fire, you bought it. Now we basically want to get them on a call, right? Now our not automated ones are going to be emails that are like, hey, saw you booked in a call with me for later today, and we're going to use that contact tag in there, or the user tag. It's not under assigned user, it's under calendar and then assigned user if you're in Go High Level. But we're basically just going to use their name and their from email. And again, this is going to basically be pulling them out of the idea that you're just sending them automated reminders. Yes, you're going to send them the automated reminders, but you also want ones that seem not automated. And then on top of that, we're going to hammer them with the true non-auto. This could be something that's truly not automated. And what we like to do, and a lot of people will be like, oh, this sounds like a lot of work. This sounds low leverage. The only thing low leverage is not making money. So don't even come at me with that bullshit. Truly non-automated is going to be a video selfie, right? We're going to pick up our iPhone, get an iPhone. Don't send it on an Android. Androids send like shit. If you still have an Android in 2025, don't know what you're doing. Pop up your phone, be like, yo, Name, I saw that you booked in. Just want to send you a quick little reminder here of your call. Just want to kind of check in with you. You're always optimizing this, right? For getting them on the call sooner than later, right? You say, hey, I got 5 minutes right now, or I got 10 minutes right now. Let me know if you want to run the call now. If you want to do it at the same scheduled time, that's cool. Just let me know, right? This is going to be an easy way to get them to actually show up to that call, right? And the biggest thing here is, if you want to get people to show up to the call, The number one thing that I can give you in any step of this funnel is just make sure your offer isn't shit. The reason people don't show up to calls is because they don't care about your offer, right? The offer is the number one thing that will make or break your show rate, your pitch rate, your amount of people that you're booking in, the actual cost per booked call, the actual cost to acquire a customer. The number one thing that will impact that is your offer, right? And so you can do paid ads, you can do organic, but until you have a validated offer, just test on people that you know that it will work on and do market research first. Then you can start running paid ads and organic. I think you should do both because organic will amplify your paid ads, right? And so that is the number one thing that you can be doing in all of this to actually make your funnel convert better, is actually have good offers that people actually want. And it's something that's actually wanted by the market. This offer, there's no reason to make it something that's like super valuable or overvaluable or overhyped. Literally all you need to do if you want to build this offer, again, look at the ICP, look at the pain and the desires. See what's holding them back, what's the gap, and then what's the solution, right? And this is your product. Your offer is the solution, right? If your offer doesn't actually solve a problem and doesn't actually move someone closer to a desire, you will never be able to sell it. And so this is exactly everything that you need to know about funnels was what I just laid out in this video. If you enjoyed this, if you have any questions for me, feel free to hit me up. Feel free to send me a message, DM me, do whatever you got to do. But this is the basics of building a banger funnel and how you can do it inside of your business as well. So if you enjoyed, just let me know. And yeah, let me know what kind of questions you got down in the comments. Also, if you want to see my full 100K per month training, completely free. It's not a VSL, it's not some crazy funnel strategy or funnel hack or anything like that. If you want to see my actual 100K per month podcast, go ahead and click the top link in the description and I will see you over there. But otherwise, peace.